Greetings and welcome to the Stick Tap Sports Network, where today we're going to be catching up on a little bit of our 1976 replay project I'm doing. And so just thought I'd share some updates over the past couple of weeks. I think it's been about a month since I last posted an update. Um, and so in that time, I've knocked off probably about 2.5, 3 weeks worth of games. And just kind of a refresher here. The setup for this replay and what games are being used, not specific to one particular platform, but looking at and using Payoff Pitch, Status Pro, the embedded version in Digital Diamond, as well as National Pastime Next Generation, and as I mentioned before, Digital Diamond. So kind of rotate, have a a system where I'll pick a game randomly every day, and the rotation for games is almost as it's listed here. I go Payoff Pitch, National Pastime, Status Pro, and then Digital Diamond. I do manage both teams with the exception of Digital Diamond when I'm playing a game in that platform where I will allow the computer to manage the visiting team. As I said, I manually play a game a day. The rest of the games for that day will be simmed by the Digital Diamond system or game engine. So the outline is a 1976 as played replay. I use the game day lineups generated by Digital Diamond. All players who are eligible or all players that dressed for that game are eligible to play. I will stick, though, to the starting lineups and generally adhere to them through at least 6 to 7 innings where you might start to see pinch hitting. Relief pitching obviously is based upon fatigue or if a pitcher is just not effective. So, and that happens, as we all know. Transactions are handled by Digital Diamond. And so that's kind of what the setup is for this project. So since I last provided an update, a few of the highlights that have taken place through, let's say, the period of or May 4th through the 21st is we have the Royals and Red Sox play a 16-inning game. Here's kind of what that looked like. Here's the recap from Digital Diamond. The teams both were even after 4 and stayed that way for the next 13 innings until the bottom of the 16th when the Red Sox were able to push across a run to get the win. That was a leadoff double by Freddie Lynn, followed by Carlton Fisk strikeout, and then an RBI single by Carl Yastrzemski to win the game in 16. The White Sox, another fun game. The White Sox defeat really kind of pound the Texas Rangers by a 16-9 score. They are able to get 25 hits in the game. This game was played by the computer, as was the one prior that I mentioned, the 16-inning affair between the Red Sox and the Royals. Who the game designated as the player of the game for this matchup was Bucky Dent. Went 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored, a double, and 4 RBIs. So in that game, he raised his average to 319 on the season. So that's one. Then we also had a six RBI game by Detroit Tiger first baseman Jason Thompson. This game was played by the computer as well. Thompson went 3 for 5 with a walk, a double, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. At that time, it raised the Tigers' record to 12-11 on the season. Thompson raised his average to 259 in the game. he hit his 2 home runs for his fourth and fifth of the season. Willie Horton also slugged a home run for the Tigers, his sixth on the year. Then we get into some interesting stuff here. I'll jump forward a little bit, though. During that period, Pete Rose had a 27-game hitting streak that was snapped on the 15th of May, just about a week ago in action. Jim Palmer strikes out 14 Brewers. Not a major feat, obviously, because the Brewers are just terrible in this replay. But this game went 11 innings, and true, typical of the era. Jim Palmer pitched 10 2/3 innings. Didn't get the win. Wayne Garland wound up picking up the victory to raise his record to 2-0. But as I said, Palmer struck out 14 Brewers. Brewers wasted a great pitching outing by Bill Travers, who went 10 and gave up the winning run in the 10th inning. Or actually, I guess that would be the bottom of the 11th, right? Yes. So, and that run was scored by, let's see here. I think that's Tommy Harper, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Tommy or Terry. He singled, followed by a Mark Belanger single, and then a Bobby Grich double to win the game. That proved to be the game-winning margin, 2-1. So, fun game played between the Brewers and the Orioles. And let's see here. So then, so like I said, I play the replay. I play games manually, and over a 3-day period, I had 2 different players hit for the cycle. The first one was this game between the Pirates and the Cardinals, which was really a lot of fun to play. The Cards jumped out to a 4-0 lead early. The Pirates were able to get within a run after the 4.5 innings, but then the Cardinals stretched the lead back to 3, taking a 6-3 lead into after 5. The Pirates push over a run in the 7th, and then they go into the 9th inning, trailing by 2. And Al Oliver is 1 hit away from the cycle, and that hit being a home run. So of course, he comes up in the top of the 9th. Mario Mendoza singles to get on base. We get a relief pitcher coming in, and that's Al Raboski, I think, came in to relieve Bob Forsch, and strikes out Richie Hebner. And then Al Oliver proceeds to hit a 2-run home run to tie the game and get the cycle. So that was pretty exciting. Unfortunately for the Pirates, though, Reggie Smith leads off the bottom of the 9th with a home run. I think that was his first of the season, if I'm not mistaken. No, his third. I'm sorry. And that wins the game in walk-off style. The Cardinals defeat the Pirates 7-6. The next game where we featuring a cycle was George Foster of the Reds. Now this was a blowout from really the 3rd inning on. The Reds were able to push across 6 runs in the 3rd to jump out to a 7-0 lead. By the time we get to where the drama is, which is the 9th inning for George Foster to complete the cycle, the score at that point was 13-0. So the Bengals were really kind of giving it to the Niners that day. So we look at the scorecard. It was kind of fun because I thought that Foster was going to miss his opportunity. He homered in the 8th inning to give him 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Needing a single, he was due up 6th in the inning. So the Reds string together the first 5 guys in the inning get on base. You have Rose reaching on an error. You have Concepcion with a single. That knocks in Rose, who got 2 bases on his error. And then you have Morgan with a single, Bench with a walk, Perez singles, and then George Foster comes up. And what he winds up doing is getting an infield single. He, bounces one off the plate. The catcher for the Giants, Mike Sadek, comes up with the ball, but is too late with his throw at first, and George Foster gets his cycle by getting an infield single in the ninth inning of a 17-0 drubbing of the Giants. So the Big Red Machine, truly that in that matchup. So I thought that was kind of cool. 2 cycles within a 3-day period. One, the Foster one was playing Status Pro, the embedded version in Digital Diamond, and the Al Oliver cycle was playing Payoff Pitch. So a lot of fun there. That was pretty cool. So we'll take a quick look at the standings here. Before we look before I start talking about that, I'll mention that I do keep track of how the teams are doing as opposed to in real life, and looking at where they stand as far as are they ahead of their pace, are they behind their pace. The Overachievers Club at this point is the Oakland A's, the St. Louis Cardinals, both at 5. They're 5 games ahead of their pace in 1976 in real life. The White Sox are 4 games ahead of their pace. As far as underachievers, the as I mentioned, the Brewers are 6 games behind where they were at this point. The Kansas City Royals are 5 games behind their pace set in real life. And you have also Pittsburgh and Houston at 4 games behind their pace. So we take a look at the standings here real quick. Yankees are leading the East with a 20-11 record. They have a 3-game lead on the Boston Red Sox. That was pretty much a tie a couple weeks back, but the Yankees are starting to play some good baseball. I think at this point, in their last 10, they're 8-2. And that's the best stretch over the last 10 games for any team in this replay. So they've been playing some good baseball. Let's see, anything else in the East? The Orioles. I thought they would be a little bit stronger at this point. They're 6 games back of the Yankees. As I mentioned, the Brewers are just not very good. They're 6-20 with a 231 win percentage and 50 minus 50 on the run differential so far this season. In the AL West, you've got the White Sox and the Athletics tied for first, followed by and this division's pretty close actually. You got the Rangers and the Twins are 1.5 back and tied for third. The Royals are just a half game behind them, 2 games behind the pace set by the White Sox and the Athletics. And the Angels are 15-23, but 6.5 games back. And so that's kind of what things look like in the American League. In the NL, you've got the Phillies trying to put some daylight between them and the rest of the division. I think a few weeks back they were just starting to play some pretty solid baseball. They've continued that. They've stretched their lead now to 2.5 games over the Mets and the Cardinals. That is, Cardinals are one of those teams that are playing some pretty good baseball compared to where they were at this point in '76. The Expos are a surprise, 16-15, 3.5 games back in the NL East. And then bringing up the rear is the Pirates and the Cubs, both at 16-18, 5 games back. The Cubs have been playing better baseball of late. They've won 8 of their last 10. So keep an eye on them. In the National League West, kind of a surprise here, the Dodgers with a 6.5 game lead over the Reds. It's a bit of a surprise, as I said. I thought I know the Reds are this is the Big Red Machine, right? The in real life world champions. So I'm expecting them to get hot and chase down the Dodgers as we head into the summer. But at this point, LA has played pretty solid baseball, 27-10, and they're not, as you notice, not in that overachievers club. I think there might be a game or 2 ahead of their pace at this point. And the Reds are not far behind their pace as well. I think they might be a game behind at this point. So you got the Reds in second, 6.5 back, followed by the Padres at 9 games back. And then you have the rest of the West, which is the Giants at 13 and the Astros and Braves at 14 games back. So, So interesting developments happening here. It'll be fun to keep an eye on this. I thought I'd share with you also what the leaders are doing in the league so far. The Twins Lyman Bostock is leading the American League with a 427 batting average. Is followed by Carl Yastrzemski at 386. Then in home runs, you've got a two-way tie atop the American League between in it's Sal Bando and Dan Ford with 8 home runs each. Willie Horton is 1 home run back with 7. You'll see Joe Rudi has been playing some. Has been a pretty hot hitter of late. He's got 6 home runs and 32 RBIs, and those 32 RBIs lead the American League at this point, 8 over second place, the batter in second place, who's Butch Weiniger of the Minnesota Twins. And in stolen bases, you got, of the top 5 in the category, you got 3 Oakland A's with among those leaders. You have Bill North with 20. He's leading the league. Second place is Bert Campaneris with 17. And then you've got Don Baylor in 5th with 14 stolen bases. Between Campaneris and Baylor is Al Bumbry of the Orioles and Mickey Rivers of the New York Yankees. In the pitching categories, Catfish Hunter is the leader in ERA with a 1.05 mark. His teammate Ed Figueroa has a 1.29 ERA, so Yankees are getting some strong starting pitching from those two guys. You've got, after that, Dennis Eckersley, Rick Wise, and Tom Bergmeyer, also sub 2 ERAs. In the win category, you've got Vida Blue of the A's with 7, Catfish Hunter of the Yankees with 7. Saves, Tom Bergmeyer and Raleigh Fingers both with 5 apiece. Strikeouts, Nolan Ryan leading the American League with 67 strikeouts, and then followed by Jim Palmer and his teammate Frank Tanana with 63. In the complete game category, and this is like I mentioned earlier, this is a different era. Catfish Hunter has 9 complete games so far this season, so he's just been has a rubber arm apparently. So yeah, that 9 games is a pretty stout number. In the National League, leading in batting average is Bake McBride with a 432 batting average. He's followed by a couple of Phillies, Gary Maddox and Larry Boa, both at 369 and 368 respectively. And then you have Bill Russell and Bob Watson at 347, rounding out the top 5 in batting average. For home runs, you got Dave Kingman almost doubling up on the rest of the NL with 13 home runs. In second is Rick Monday and Mike Schmidt with 7 each. RBIs, or RBI, I should say. George Foster leading the National League with 38 runs batted in, followed by Dave Kingman at 30. Steve Garvey of Los Angeles Dodgers with 29. And in stolen bases, you have Joe Morgan leading the National League with 15 stolen bases, followed by Lou Brock with 12. It's kind of interesting to think of Billy Buckner in his younger days when he was with the Dodgers actually having some good legs before his knees were destroyed. So, but yeah, he's got 9 stolen bases so far this season. In the pitching categories, you have John Danny leading the National League with a 0.58 ERA. And I think if you didn't see the recap from the previous recap, I think I mentioned that John Danny threw a no-hitter towards the end of April. So he's continued that dominant pitching and has been pretty stellar on the mound with that 0.58 ERA. You followed by a pair of Dodgers with Don Sutton and Tommy John, both at Don Sutton's a 1.23 ERA, Tommy John at 1.24. And then you have Fred Norman and Bruce Keeson of the Reds and Pirates, both with sub 2 ERAs, just like in the American League. In the wins category, John Danny is leading the league with 7 wins. You have four other pitchers with 6. That's Bert Hooton of the Dodgers, Tommy John of the Dodgers, Gary Nolan of the Reds, and Tom Seaver of the Mets. In saves, Dave Tomlin has 6 saves to lead the National League. Dave Tomlin of the San Diego Padres, that is. And Charlie Huff and Skip Lockwood are just 1 save behind him with 5 each. J.R. Richard leads the National League in strikeouts with 67. Steve Carlton has 59. He's in second place. And then in the complete game category, you have John Matlack of the New York Mets with 6 complete games, followed by Bert Hooton and Randy Jones with 5 each for Hooton with the Dodgers and Randy Jones with the Padres. So that is pretty much it. That brings you up to speed on how things are going in this replay. I will probably be doing this again in about another month. We'll see where we stand at that point. I'm hoping and thinking that we should be well into the month of June at that point. So yeah, please do like and subscribe, and tune back in for an update as to where things stand with the next installment. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and take care. Goodbye.